Yo, what is going on today, fam? So we are back again today, and we are working on the Civic right here. And today we are going to be installing some coilovers on the Civic. All right. So a company called MAXPEEDINGRODS, they actually reached out to me to see if I was interested in trying a set of their coilovers for the EK DC2 platform. So I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So a bit of a background about this company. They're mostly up on eBay right now. They're definitely a budget parts manufacturer. A set of these coilovers you see here is around $270 before taxes. So honestly, I just want to make this review just to see if they're any good and give a unbiased review and really tell you what I think about them. So what we're going to do today is, number one, we're going to go to just unbox these and just see what their construction is. Two, and then we'll go to install them on my EG Civic. And then three, we'll take them for a drive on the twisty road as long as the weather holds up. And then we'll get our first driving impressions, okay? So in my last EG video, I gave my driving impressions with just the stock suspension. Keep in mind this is a 30K mile, well 30K original mile example, so everything is still tied up on the car. My stock suspension was not blown. I do have sticky tires up on it, Falcon RT 615K pluses. So once we get these coilovers installed, then we'll get our impressions. But first, time for the unboxing. So, and I got my little brother with me today, RJ. Say what's up, bro.
How you doing, man?
He be my cameraman today, and he's gonna help me out with this install. So I'm gonna pass the camera to him, and we get this unboxing going. So I have not went to even like open up the box yet. I wanted my first unboxing to be on camera, and we'll see together how these things look as soon as they come out of the box. And also I got a discount code for these. BEEZY, B-E-E-Z-Y, 15 for 15% off if you do decide that this is something that you want to try on your own car. But we got our foam right here, of course, and we have our coilovers here. So let's see. MAXPEEDINGRODS focus on performance. Okay. Where's these coming from? China. So they are manufactured in China, okay? It has the address right here. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're junk. So we'll see. Let's go in and start pulling these out. So here's one of the rear ones right here. And these are 24-way adjustable. One of the things that I find interesting already is that the label sticker is put, you know, like just upside down from the orientation of the coilover. So that's interesting for sure. These are supposed to be 24-way adjustable coilovers. Let's see if it has a stopping point, if you can feel the stopping point. Yep, there's a defined stopping point and a defined max point. So, okay, that's good. You can adjust a spring load here. So the amount of spring tension that's right there, and then you can adjust your height from right here on this lower one. So that's a rear damper. Then we have a front damper here. Same thing here, so the stickers are put upside down. I think that's kind of strange, just being the fact that when they're installed, the orientation will be like this. But yeah, we'll see. I actually want to take one of these apart and just see what the damper is actually like. Want to push down up on it all the way, see if it comes back up by itself. So we'll do that also, just to check it out. But they're made out of steel construction. Got a steel housing right here. These are aluminum, so the top hats are aluminum, then our actual collars are aluminum. They have the brake line brackets right here. These are supposed to be for the EG. They have a rubber bushing there. Let's see, is there a, and so when we take, and then they do have bump stops installed. So that's all good so far. They look good. Another thing that's included, if you have an EK that has the bigger knuckles, and they give you these sleeves that you actually put on here, and then these sleeves would make it so that the coilover is big enough to fit inside the EK knuckles. But we won't need those for the EG. And then we got a customer service card, just pretty much saying thank you. I think these have a 1-year warranty also, so there's that. Then we have our actual spanner wrenches right here. So we got our Allen key, and we got our 2 spanner wrenches, made out of steel. They seem to be pretty thick. I can't bend them with my hands, so that's a good sign there. But so the spring rates for these are, so they're 8K in the front, which is like 440 pound springs. Then they are 5K in the rear, which is like 228 pound springs. So not really a very stiff setup. So being the fact that it has a higher spring rate in the front than it does in the rear, so it should provide pretty good road manners. But we'll see when we go out for the test. But I'm gonna get these unboxed, and then we'll go ahead and we'll pull one of them apart just to check out the damper. All right, so now we have the coilover apart, and this is the way that it comes apart. So we got our little nut right there. Then we have a washer. Then we have our top hat, which is pretty nice. It has this rubber bushing inside of it. We have our spring, not extremely stiff. Another little bushing. We got our dust cover. We have our bump stop. Then we have this piece that goes over the collar, just so the spring doesn't bind. All right, so now we have the damper itself. I don't think I need to take it apart past this, but we want to see if there's any noticeable difference by hand when you go to compress the strut, when you put it on its softest setting, which is all the way counterclockwise, versus its hardest setting, which is all the way clockwise. So right now we got it on its softest setting. So RJ is gonna pick it up. He's gonna push down up on it. He's gonna see if he can see any difference. So it didn't take a lot of effort at all, did it?
Nope.
There wasn't a lot of effort at all. So that's on its softest setting. All right, so go ahead and put it on its hardest.
This way, right?
Yeah, so clockwise. Keep turning it clockwise. All right, so that's its hardest setting.
Oh yeah, it's a difference.
You can feel the difference?
It's a difference.
It's a difference? All right, let me see.
Keep trying.
It's
a big difference.
All right, so this is on its stiffest setting. Okay.
Yeah, you can tell.
Oh yeah, you can definitely feel the difference. Okay. Now let's take it over to its softest setting. Counterclockwise. I'm all the way. Yeah, there's a noticeable difference. I'll give you that. So there is some change, at least between the softest and the hardest setting. So this 24-way a damper adjustability, it does actually do something. It does actually do something. So it does actually do something. So that's good news. So we're gonna go ahead and then we'll put this one back together. All right. And once we get everything back together, then we're gonna go ahead and start the install on the car. But let me see right quick. So this is the height. So this is the height that we are at right now with the stock suspension. As y'all can see, she is monster trucking, and the goal is to close up some of this gap so I can't just fist my car like that. So once we get this stuff back together, then we'll get this car all jacked up, wheels off, and we will start the actual install. So we'll see you in a bit. All right, so one of the things I forgot to mention, and I don't want to move on just before I do, is I did go to check to make sure there was 24 clicks of adjustability, and there actually was 24 clicks. So one of the things I did notice that my actual top hat nut up here, it wasn't all the way tight. So I would say prior to you going to install this on your car, make sure your top hat nuts are all the way tight. I'm going to adjust my, so the coilover bodies to the same height, but I'm pretty much gonna leave it where they set it from the factory, then I'll go to adjust from there. But yeah, so just make sure that your top hat nuts are tight prior to installing them on the vehicle. So these nuts right here. All right, so we're gonna get the car up on, so just up in the air, and we'll go ahead and get these bad boys installed. All right, so we're working on the front suspension first. This is the front of the vehicle, so still got everything in, but I'm just gonna give you an overview. So we're gonna have to take off this 12mm bolt that's right here for your brake line, the other 12mm bolt right there for your brake line. All right, then we're gonna come over to this side of our knuckle. There's a 14 millimeter bolt right here that we are going to take out to loosen it up from the actual shock body itself. Then we need to come down here to the bottom of our actual fork. And then we need to take off these 17mm bolts right here. Then we'll come up to the top. Then we'll take off the 2 bolts that actually hold this whole strut assembly up. Then it'll come straight out that easy. So let me go ahead and get to working up on that. Then I will show you when this is out. All right, so got the brake line loose right there. So what I like to do whenever I can is just put the bolts back wherever I took them from. So I just put the 2 bolts that came out. There's one in the front, then one in the back right there. Put that back where it goes until we're ready to use it. Now I'm working on getting this 17mm bolt out. Already got the nut off right there. But now you have to actually get the bolt out itself, which is right here. So what I did was I tapped it with a mallet just to get it through. Now I'm taking this adjustable right here. Sorry if the light is trash. Get some more light. So now what I'm gonna do is take my adjustable right here, right? Just push that like that. Now I'm gonna kind of use the adjustable to pry it out. Just leveraging my adjustable against it, and bam. Just came out like that. All right, so you don't want to use any of these bolts while you're working. So what I advise you do, take the nut and bolt and just put them together. So that way, nothing is lost while you're working, and when you go to put everything back, everything is there. So I'm just gonna set that to the side on my work area like that. Now it's time to move on to the 14mm bolt that's on the knuckle. We're gonna take that out, and that's gonna allow our knuckle to drop off from our strut. Cool, so got that loose. We got the fork off. As you can see right there, fork is loose and separated. It slides right off. So now we're going to turn our attention to the top. These 2 14mm bolts, and that's what's holding on the rest of the shock body. So once we loosen up these, we'll be able to pull out the whole shock. So I'm gonna get this loose, and then we'll get it pulled. All right, so got the old spring and shock combo out. It came out pretty easy. Didn't have a lot of issues at all there. Took a little bit of finagling to get it just out of where it went, but I was able to get around the brake line and do what I needed to do. So as long as you just play with it a little bit, it will come out. So this is the OEM next to the MAXPEEDINGRODS. As you can see, the OEM is quite a bit longer, but I want to just put them on at this setting and see just how low they sit, and then I'll go to adjust them from there. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get this thing back together. We do have to use these sleeves. I was mistaken. I thought you didn't have to use the sleeves, so I'll put the sleeve in. So now what I'm gonna do is put the knuckle in, and then we'll go to installing that whole assembly. So we're gonna try that now. All right, so got the front set of coilovers installed. Super easy here. These are 15mm bolts up top now to mount your top hat, so just keep that in mind. They're no longer 14s. Pretty easy. We did have to use the kind of like the little silver sleeve that's provided in the kit, but everything fit like it should. There were no fitment issues. The brake line holder is really cool. Even a lot of higher end coilovers don't even include the brake line holder. So you would have to zip tie your brake line. So that's actually a really nice attribute. Fitment is good, no issues there. We got everything in how it was supposed to be. Just as far as the front coilovers going on, I would say that these were very easy to install, no issues at all there, no fitment issue. Everything fit how it's supposed to. So now we're gonna move on to the rear install. So we are going to get that in. The rear install is pretty easy. Once again, 2 15mm top hat nuts. Then we got 1 17mm bolt that comes out of, 14mm bolt that comes out of there. Super easy. The only thing is the max speeding rods, they don't come with the nut that's supposed to go on the end of this bolt, so we're gonna have to figure that out. You will have to source that yourself or cut it off from your old strut. So I'll figure out which one I'm gonna do. I might have the spare ones laying in, but yeah, let me go ahead and get this together. So first thing we're gonna have to do is pop our trunk so we can get access to the rear top hat bolts. All right, so if your EG still has full interior, pretty much what we're gonna have to do is just crack these bad boys open. Pretty simple. Just get you a little like flathead or something like that. You should be able to pry these open. So you want to come from the bottom here like that, come straight off. So these are where our two 14mm bolts are in. You're gonna need a little bit of an extension for this one, but 14 mils right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those loose. Then we'll come down to the bottom bolt that's right here. This is a captured one, so the nut is actually welded to the other side. So all you gotta do is just undo it from this side right here. So pretty simple. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get that started. Then I will see y'all when we're back down here. Jesus, my fault. Keep moving the camera. Alright, so we got our original shock assembly out of there. Pretty easy, just those two 14mm bolts that hold the top hats on right here. Then we have another 14mm bolt that goes through the bottom of the shock body, and another 14mm bolt that connects to pretty much like your knuckle assembly. So yeah, got both of those out. Then we just had to bring down the lower control arm right here. And once you bring down the lower control arm, then you can go ahead and drop this bad boy out. The back is considerably easier than the front, and you have a lot more room to work. So yeah, keep in mind if you have an old rusty EKEG, it's very possible that you'll break this bolt right here. So you might want to have some other ones ready to go. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead now and install my new max speeding rod coilover. But the thing I was talking about with how you're going to have to figure out a nut situation. So you can see the old one has this nut right here, this captured nut. The new one does not. So I have to find a nut that will fit on this bolt in order to get this. All right, so what we did to solve our lack of a nut problem on the new coilover was we just chopped off the old nut. Ah, it's hot as a bitch. We just chopped it off the new, Jesus. We chopped it off the old shock body. It's super hot. We just used our reciprocating saw right here. Keep in mind you're gonna want at least 3 blades because you're gonna go through probably 2 of them. Trying to get it to cut all the way through. This is the second blade, and this is just the first one we did. But yeah, so that would definitely work right there. So time to get this thing all bolted in. First rear coilover in, and I have to say I am actually just pretty impressed so far with the overall fit and finish of the coilovers. Like the front coilovers, they went in without a hitch. The fitment was very good. Had no problems there. Rear coilers have been the same thing. No fitment issues at all there. So I will say that I'm coming into this review unbiased, and I didn't know what to expect. Obviously, like these are sub $300 coilovers. This specific model, I believe, is $270, $275. So I didn't expect a lot from them, but I've been impressed so far with just with the ease of install and just the fitment of everything. I will say I'm happy that they had like the brake line bracket. That's really dope. I do wish that they included rear nuts for your coilovers, but you can also cut them off of your old suspension that comes off the vehicle. So I guess that's that. But I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna do the other rear side, and then we'll go ahead and we'll lower the car for like our first static shot, and then we will adjust from there if we need to. Once we get done with that, then we'll go for a ride. So let me go ahead and get everything back together, and then we'll see how this thing sits. So that is the way they pretty much come sitting from the factory. And in my opinion, the car needs to go up about half an inch all the way around because this is too low. I can't even fit a finger in. I'm tucking there. Tucking here too. So I need to come up about half an inch all around because this is just a little bit too low. I'm not trying to be scraping everywhere. And I want the suspension to have its full amount of travel. So I'm just gonna go ahead and adjust this thing right quick. You can adjust the coilovers with them still on the car. So I'm gonna get this thing back in the air and I will get to adjusting. All right, so I'm adjusting just all four corners up half an inch, and I'm on the last corner. I'm doing this all with the wheels on. I just jacked the car up. Pretty much all I'm doing is I'm coming inside the wheel well. I've already loosened up, so I loosened the bottom collar a little bit, and then I just turn it counterclockwise to bring up the whole shock assembly. And it's little by little. It's not a lot every time, but I'm just going through. And since I loosened up the shock, well, so this lower collar right here, all I gotta do is just wait till this gets about like half an inch, and then I know the vehicle's been raised. I'm doing all this with the wheels on because I hate taking wheels on and off with a passion. But yeah, so once I get this ride height all dialed in, and I'll show y'all the finished product. All right, so ended up taking a little bit longer than I thought it would. I snapped the lower shock mounting bolt up on the left side of the car, so I had to do a Home Depot run to go get some hardware for that. So unfortunately, the day ran a little bit longer, but this is what I came up with. So I won't be doing the road review today. So what I'm gonna do instead, which I think would be better, is I'm actually gonna drive this car to work tomorrow. It's about a 25-minute drive on the highway. The highway has a lot of bumps, a lot of undulations. Also along the way, there's some bumpy road that's not of the best quality, things like that. So I'll really get to experience what these coilovers ride like, just for like an everyday driving perspective. Right now, I have them not super low, but I'm happy to say if you wanted to slam your car, these things have like another 2 inches of like travel. Like if you look at that coilover body, it's kind of hard to see. There's like another 2.5 almost inches that you can see right there. Like there's still a lot of room to go lower if you wanted to. I don't have that intention. I want my cars to ride decent and be drivable. And being at that height, they won't be drivable. But yeah, but if you want a pair of coilovers to slam your car that will actually fit for the low, these would be a good option. But I really want to see just what their driving characteristics are like, and just how they feel up on the highway, and yeah, those type of things. So right now I have the dampening settings to 12 in the front, which is about half, and 16 in the rear. I don't want them full stiff. I don't want them full soft. I really feel like a full soft, these would probably be a little bit too bouncy for me, just because that full soft, like, you know, like the shocks really I didn't feel that much resistance. But, you know, that's just me though. Tomorrow after work, I'm gonna go on a spirited drive with these things and give my opinion on them, spiritedly driving them, seeing how they actually feel and how they handle being pushed. But until then, I will see you guys tomorrow. Yo, what is going on, fam? So we are here for the spirited drive on the MAXPEEDINGRODS coilovers. I'm just gonna give my opinion as I just run through this twisty road right here. I had ran through here once already, but I had to go to stiffen up the rear suspension because I was getting a little bit of rub. I gotta raise up the car. So we're just gonna see. I still gotta I need to raise up the car. Definitely need to raise up the car. So we can't go super hard. But you can enjoy the scenery. And I can just talk about my experience so far with driving on these. I've actually been driving this car to work. I've driven it a couple times to work. It's all like highway driving on the way there. you know, just to get a better feel for the suspension, to be able to give, you know, my unbiased opinion on what I really think of these. And what I concluded was that on the lower speed bumps and things of that nature, like the car soaks, you know, so the suspension, the dampers, they soak that type of stuff up well. But it's the bigger bumps that leads to what feels like a crash, just as but like as you hit like bigger bumps, like the car feels more crashy, like it feels like it's crashing, and like the suspension isn't actually like soaking up the bumps. So when I would hit the bigger bumps, so the car would feel just a bit uncomposed, and then you got that pogo sticking that like Hondas are known for sometimes when they're too low. Just a little bit of pogo sticking from the suspension. But overall though, it's comfortable, I feel, as long as the vehicle's not too low and it's at a manageable ride height. I do feel like that on some of the higher speed bumps and stuff like that, so the car can definitely come a bit unstable coming over it, just because it starts to bounce and do that thing just before the suspension takes a set. But once again, this is a sub $300 full suspension system that does actually fit pretty well. Well, it actually fits great, but you know, like how much can you really expect for $300? So I guess that's a question you have to ask yourself too. I think this suspension is a interesting option, and I'm a bit surprised, honestly. It's better than what I thought it would be. But I think if you're getting a coilover kit like this, you have to come in with realistic expectations as to what you're actually buying. But just on this twisty road, the car does feel good. The car does feel composed. I think it actually feels pretty good. I think the suspension does a good job at handling some of the mid-corner bumps that we encountered during the drive, but also I was rubbing a bit, so I didn't want to push the car as hard, you know, just so my tire isn't like, you know, literally melting away. So I didn't push the car as hard as I necessarily wanted to, but like the suspension does feel decent. It doesn't feel like the car is just riding up on just some slop. Like even just, God, the rubbing. But even just now, like going through like that off ramp, like I hit a mid-corner bump and the car dealt with it, so the suspension did what it's supposed to do. I didn't feel like I lost grip. I didn't feel like the car became unsettled. But it soaked up the bump like it was supposed to do, and the car still felt planted. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty impressed by the suspension. Just, you know, just because I didn't know what to expect out of such a low budget option. Just because I haven't ran any suspension like this. I don't think ever, honestly. So definitely pretty interesting. I would love to get these on track to explore it a bit more after I've appropriately raised the car and got a proper alignment. But I'm definitely looking forward to exploring these coilovers a bit more, just so I can report back on their longevity for one, how they hold up on track, and just how it feels. So I will say though, what the world? Why are we racing? Why are we racing? Lost my train of thought. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut Spirited Drive here, and then I'll meet you guys in my office, and then we'll just close out the video for my final thoughts. Alright, so time to wrap up this video. So first off, I want to thank MAXPEEDINGRODS for even reaching out to me and just sending out a set of their coilovers for me to buy. So just remember that if you do want to pick up one of these for yourself, my discount code is BEEZY15. That is BEEZY 15. Alright, but so moving on to my final thoughts. So unboxing. So I think they were packaged decently, you know, nothing out of the ordinary there. I mean, they were covered, you know, they didn't come damaged, they didn't come anything like that. So, you know, that's fine with me. The only thing I will say is that the sticker was on upside down, which I thought was kind of weird. Maybe that's just what they do, not sure, but I thought that was kind of strange. Installation, a breeze. In my opinion, 10 out of 10. I love the fact that the front coilovers had the brake bracket, like the OEM, just like the OEM shocks had. So I thought that was really, really dope. Everything went together the way it was supposed to, very smooth. Daily driving up on them, as I touched on briefly in the last clip, I thought that they handled the smaller bumps really well and rode really smoothly, but the bigger bumps led to some kind of like bounce and pogo action just before the car took a set again. So that's my opinion on that. Spirited driving, being the fact there was some rubbing, I couldn't push them as much as I wanted to, but from what I was able to gather was it felt decent. It felt decent. The dampers didn't have the car feeling like the car was all over the place. Really, what I was looking for was, were these dampers going to be worse than stock? Did performance decrease? And I don't think so. I'm sure if I had it up on the track, stock versus the coilovers, you know, with an alignment, I feel like the coilovers would be quicker on track. How much? Who knows? But the car does feel more composed. It does feel more flat, and it doesn't feel super stiff. I will say that about the spring rates they use, 8K in the front, 5K in the rear. It's a good balanced spring rate. The car doesn't feel oversprung, so it doesn't feel just like you're riding up on blocks and wood. Like, you can feel the suspension travel, you can feel it doing its job. So I do think that's cool. My overall opinion is, for under $300, I feel like these are a good starting point coilover. I do feel like if you go up higher in the range to a better quality coilover, just if you spend a bit more money, then of course there will be bigger performance gains, but I feel like overstock, these do offer some benefit. And for just a daily driver, oh yeah, 100%. On track, I can't say exactly if these are worth $300, or maybe you should just save your money a little bit more and just wait till you can afford something a little bit better. But on something that you're just daily driving, I think they're pretty comfortable enough. I also think that if you're a stancy boy, these things go super low, so they'll be perfect for you. But thanks again, MAXPEEDINGRODS, for pretty much like sponsoring this and allowing me this opportunity to try out your product. So that's my unbiased opinion, you know, it's my unbiased opinion. But if you did like the video, make sure it's like and subscribe. Woo! Voice went out. But if you do like this video, make sure to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Take it easy. I am out.